Welcome to Discover Indie Film. I'm your host, Jeff Howard, and I've got two wonderfully creative people with me. I've got Kerri Lee Romero and Adam Leotta. Hey, you two.
Hi.
Hi.
They are on the Discover Indie Film podcast, and I'll make this quick. They made an amazing film with writer-director Brian Fulmer. They made Little Deaths. It premiered at the Sherman Oaks Film Festival last year, won two really great awards. It won the Grand Jury Award for Best Feature Film, Art House Experimental, and it won the Grand Jury Award for Best Performance by a Cast in a Feature Film. And the cast was essentially these two, Kerri and Adam. So congratulations on being award-winning actors and filmmakers, because you were also both producers on it. So really, Best Feature and Best Performance, those, what can I say? Bravo. Little golf clap.
Thank you.
So people should run, don't walk to your smart TV and go on whatever service that lets you rent a film. You can go to Vimeo VOD and rent it. You can go to Amazon Prime Video and rent it, but search for the film Little Deaths and enjoy a truly fantastic indie film. And now we're probably going to not talk about indie film too much, but we're going to have Adam and Kerri answer the Discover Indie Film 4 questions in this episode. So those are: name 3 favorite films, name an underrated film, name an overrated film, and name a lesser-known film that people should seek out. And I didn't warn you to, but I always figure like one person should answer the first question first, and then for the second question, the other person goes first, so it kind of goes back and forth. So who wants to name their 3 favorites?
Yeah, sure, I'll do it. So I guess I'll do Naked Gun. Great movie. It's one of my favorites. Another one is probably the latest Mad Max. Not Furiosa, but Fury Road. And my third is probably Shakespeare in Love.
Nicely dispersed. And I got to say,
you got an action, you got a comedy, you got a romance.
Yeah. And I mean, talk about a comedy. My God.
Talking about a comedy. It's just, the reason it's one of my favorites is because it's a period piece, so it's visually interesting. It's written by a great writer, so it's just like every scene is just either funny or there's wordplay. It's smart, but it's also, it doesn't make you feel stupid. It's not smelling its own farts. It's like, it's for your average Joe. It's intelligent if you want to seek out nuance. It's visually interesting. And it's just well-directed, solid movie, solid flick.
Absolutely. All right, Kerri, you ready?
3 favorites?
Yeah.
It's like the hardest question that you can ever pose to somebody that makes films. But okay. So usually I go with my first 3 favorite movies, because that's the easiest thing I think that I could. So when I was a little kid, I had this a cassette that I had 2 movies on, and I would flip it over, and I would just watch these 2 movies over and over and over and over again. And that's Airplane and Spaceballs, which I saw before ever seeing Star Wars.
But the fact that Adam says Naked Gun and you say Airplane, and they're from the same teams, that's pretty rad.
Exactly. Yeah. And then the third one that I usually say is like my favorite, Academy Award winning movie, like Best Picture Award winning movie, which is Amadeus.
Oh, Amadeus. Wonderful.
I love it. It combines all of the things that I love. Period piece, classical music, crazy artists, jealousy.
No, and brilliant film. Actually, okay, I have to throw in I don't know if it counts as a brag or not, but I just remembered when I was in high school, I went to a test screening of The Naked Gun.
Oh.
And my friends and I were the last to get in, and we were at the back of the theater, and security was stopping this guy from getting in, and they said, "Who are you?" And he went, "I'm Jeffrey Zucker, the director." And then they let him in. But I remember standing there going, "What? That's the Airplane guy? That's
oh, that's awesome." Yeah,
right. It was Abram, Zucker, and Zucker.
He also did the TV show, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait,
No, they
no.
and
Did
they
they?
did Kentucky Fried Movie, and they did
Yeah, there was a whole
Airplane, and they did Top Secret.
Top Secret is a great one. That is a
That's
great one.
such a good film. They're
Yeah,
all fun.
I think I was extolling Shakespeare in Love, but you brought up but you were referring to Naked Gun. But yeah, Naked Gun is just the best form of comedy. It's the truest form of comedy, physical comedy. Physical comedy and wordplay. It's just like,
Well, and that's why I like to say name three favorites instead of name the best films ever made, because there's films
yeah,
I love. I don't know if you want to call it a guilty pleasure. It's just, sometimes you want the film that rips your heart out and hands it to you on a plate. And sometimes you want the film that you just can't stop laughing. In fact, for me, it's probably Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. Like, it's one of my all-time favorites. I will always cry with laughter when Steve Martin pees his pants. So anyway,
Love Steve Martin.
me too. Question number 2 is an underrated film. And Kerri, you do have to go first, unless you don't want to.
Oh, I will. This was hard for me to think of, and I'm going to say something really controversial here. There's a movie that was like universally panned as like the worst movie ever, and I actually think it's not that bad. So I'm going to say Geely.
wow, really?
Geely, Kevin Smith's Geely.
Yeah, with J Lo and Ben Affleck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
never watched it.
I like that movie, and nobody agrees with me. Nobody likes this movie, and I probably watched it a few years ago now, and I was like floored that everybody hated this movie so much.
Everyone was so ready to hate Bennifer.
Exactly, and also, I mean, I get it. When I don't know when that was, like maybe 98 or 99, maybe even early 2000s that came out. And she plays a lesbian in it. And there's some things in it I understand like why people would hate the movie, but I enjoyed it. I like
I
it.
admit, it might be the only Kevin Smith film I haven't seen because I didn't bother because of the reviews.
Yeah.
So now you make me wonder if I should.
Worst IMDb rating.
No, I mean everyone hated it, but again, they were ready to hate that couple no matter what. Didn't matter what.
But you know what? They're married now, so I feel redeemed.
After a very long journey, for sure.
It was true love, and that movie proves it.
All right, Adam, do you have an underrated film?
Underrated film. Yeah, I mean, it's probably, I'm not sure if Gravity with Sandra Bullock was like a very popular movie.
Yeah, I think
it was popular.
Actually, no, I think it might be. I'm with you. I like where you're going.
It's like
that's a Cuarón film,
yeah,
right?
Maybe it won awards, but like it was forgotten about, and I feel like it was just it didn't spawn as much of a movement that I think it should, which is like these experiential movies that are about where it's just like it doesn't have to all be done in a single take, but the entire film from beginning to end, the story is not just the plot. The story is literally the experience, the pure aggregation of sound and music in this one experience of getting from point A to point B with ups and downs in the middle. I just feel like Gravity does it so well, but I guess it did win awards, so it's not really.
No, I don't think it got the attention it deserved. I think you're right, because that's an Alfonso Cuarón film, right? And and all his other stuff gets so much praise and got so many Oscars and this and that, and it well deserved. I mean, I'm a Children of Men person to my dying day, but I thought Gravity was fantastic, and I think a lot of people brush it off as just another like sci-fi adventure.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't think people like it for the reason I guess that I like it. And I think that people should, or I should make movies that are like that. Then
it's a great movie. I
just feel like it's so unique. It's so unique. And these other movies that try to do stuff that have done stuff like it, I feel like are boring. Like what is it? It's called like Russian Ark or something like that. Like, oh God, who's gonna watch that? I don't know if you know about that. Russian Ark is like an 8-hour movie or something where it's just all one take, and they're like going through Russian history by like going through a parlor. It's like kind of this weird metaphor, and I'm like, yeah, maybe it's got some merit, but I'm like, oh, who can watch that? You watch it for 5 minutes, you want to change, you want to get rid of it. But it's a similar experience, a similar attempt at doing that. But Gravity just did it, I feel like, perfectly. So
For sure. And I guess I just looked it up on my phone just to be a little less ignorant. It might have won Cuarón Best Director, the Oscar,
whatever.
but all its other Oscars were technical. All for the effects and everything, and
yeah, so it got all the attention it needed, I suppose. So
it did, but people don't talk about that film as a great film.
I've never heard.
Everyone just jokes, right? The big joke is everyone likes to say Clooney's dead.
Oh yeah,
Clooney's dead the whole movie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. That's
all I ever hear about Gravity.
I believe Clooney died. Yeah.
All right. Well, all right. This will be fun. Name a film that you consider overrated. And it is Adam's turn to go first.
Yeah, it's Hereditary. Mm. It's Hereditary. Just so like, I just couldn't watch it. I don't know. I just didn't really find it interesting. I felt like it was just, it was like shock, and like it wasn't even shocking in like a good way. It was just like, what's the most shock? It's just dumb. I don't know. Like it was just dumb. Like you get to the point when like the boy's head gets knocked off from the telephone pole, and it's just like, I just don't even care anymore, because I felt like, it wasn't engaging. I forget everything except the ending and the head getting cut off.
So. Even forgot that it was a little girl. Oh.
There you go. Yeah, it just didn't stick,
You and I have a lot in common, because it's on my list of films I have to see again, because I still can't figure out why everyone loves it so much. I watched it once, and I think Midsommar, is like, I'm a big Midsommar fan. Okay. And everyone likes Hereditary more than that. And like, I just thought Hereditary was, well, I got to watch it again before I really insult it. But like, I would have some pretty harsh words for it if I shared what I thought of the first viewing.
It's just a very.
Well, you're not a big horror movie buff either. You don't watch a lot of horror movies.
I mean, I love. Monster, mystery. I mean, I don't want to get too deep into it, but I appreciate good horror.
Fair enough. All right, Kerri, you want to give an overrated?
Yeah, I mean, the first one that pops into my head, which I'll stand by, is it's not a bad movie, I don't think, but I just think it's overrated. As The Revenant.
Overrated?
Yeah.
Is that the DiCaprio one with the bear?
Yeah, exactly. You don't even remember which one. Yeah, it's the DiCaprio one that he won the Academy Award for because he like climbed into a bear. And that's all anybody remembers about this movie. I thought Tom Hardy was a way better actor. A way better actor. I thought he blew Leonardo DiCaprio's performance just off the table in the few scenes that they had together. I love Tom Hardy. But I just thought it's fine. I mean, I'm sure it had some really great technical filmmaking aspects. Cool technically, but it got so much hype, and I don't think it was one of Leonardo DiCaprio's best performances. I thought he was great in Wolf of Wall Street. I thought he should have won the Academy Award for that if he was gonna win the Academy Award. Or I mean, he's been great in lots of movies. But
for sure. And by the way, you answered it the way sometimes if people don't want to give an answer for this, I say, look, you're not saying it's a bad film. You're saying that the prestige that the industry and the media and the culture put upon it is less deserved. Like it could be a good movie. Like I got movies I consider very good that I also consider overrated.
He's a great filmmaker. I think it's Inarritu, right? Who made that movie? And he's a great filmmaker.
You know what? I'm going to be honest. I didn't see it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because I knew it was about it's just a digital bear, whatever. I don't know.
Well, it's like a survival. I couldn't even tell you what it's about. I don't remember.
Revenant?
Yeah, he's just like in the woods, and I don't know why he's in the woods. He's just trying to survive. I don't know.
It's like, I don't
Yeah, I
know
don't.
why the movie.
And then he fights a bear, and then he climbs inside of the bear, and he was actually cold when they
I think
filmed,
it's just
and
a
that's
guy in
why.
the wilderness, and he has to fight with another dude. It's as simple as that.
But yeah,
Well, that's why I haven't seen it, because I'm a big fan of bears. I don't want to see a film where a bear dies. No, that's like killing a dog for me.
yeah, that's fair. What did they ever do to anybody?
I'm a bear fan.
I like bears.
Me too. I'm mad we never domesticated him, but I guess that would be a crime. All right, last one. A lesser known film that people should seek out.
My turn?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to say a film by a director who I was in a film of. It's called Last Summer at La Boita. And it's a writer-director named Julia Solomonov. She's an Argentinian director. The movie I was in that she directed was called Nobody's Watching, which is also probably a great film. But I won't toot my own horn. But that's a movie she made before that, and I think it's just an incredibly beautiful film.
Like visually or
visually, story. It's about two children, one who's in like the countryside in Argentina. I think that Moldovar was a producer on it. But it didn't get a lot of notice. I think it did go to, like one of the big festivals, Tribeca or something. But I think it's a beautiful, simple, touching film that I don't know. I've not met anyone else who's ever seen that movie.
Interesting. Okay, and is the director? You said the director's name? Is it?
Julia, but it's pronounced Julia.
Yeah, Julia Solomonov.
Yeah, she's now the director of film at NYU.
Oh, wow. Well, it is listed on IMDb as, in Spanish, as El Último Verano de la Boita. For people who want to look it up, I don't know if they should use the English or Spanish. I don't know.
I don't know if that translates directly into Last Summer at La Boita. But
yeah. Yes, it does.
Oh, well, there you go.
even my high school Spanish tells me that.
Yeah.
All right, well, Adam, you want to wrap it up with your lesser known?
Yeah. I wonder if The Professional is too lesser known or is too big enough. Is too big.
The one with little Natalie Portman.
Yeah.
It's pretty.
If that's too big, then I guess I would do. Like City of Lost Children.
Oh,
Yeah, that's a good movie.
Because it's like a classic movie that like has such strong visuals and it's so strange.
Mm-hmm.
It's old enough where people probably wouldn't have watched it if they're younger than 30, and it's like important enough where it like is worth watching. I would say, and it's not that old, so it's like it's not that uninteresting. Like you watch a movie from like the 30s, you're like, but like this one is like
not me. I love movies.
Well, some of us, yeah, but because here's like I find 98% of movies to be unwatchable. So for me to say that a movie like this is watchable is like it's
that's
actually
great. I mean, those directors are.
They're just I love it. It's so visually interesting. It's got a very unique and like kind of like raw tale. Story is like very, very interesting.
Yeah, it's that's one of my that's another all-time favorite of mine.
Yeah,
and that film's amazing. That's the way fairy tales are supposed to be, right? A dark children's story.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like it's complex. It's well designed. It's well written, and I feel like you don't get a lot of that, at least with American writing.
Oh my God! And you mentioned the visuals. I mean, visually, the production design on that, it's like. The one I want to compare it to is Brazil.
It's informed. Yeah. It's informed so much of how we design things today, and it's possible that a lot of people just don't even realize that they draw a lot of inspiration from it with the steampunk aesthetic.
Yeah, I know. Amazing film.
Yeah, one of Delicatessen, which they also directed as one.
I tried to watch that one. I couldn't get past 5 minutes, but I'll try it again sometime.
Yeah, well, Jean-Pierre Jeunet, he's best known for Amélie.
Yeah, and well, there
Amelie's
was a
great.
team that there was Janae and Caro. I
Yeah,
think.
Caro. Mark Caro.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the one guy.
Amelie is like a lot. It's so much easier to watch than Delicatessen for some reason.
Yeah, Amelie is my wife's favorite film of all time, and City Lost Children is one of mine favorites of all time. So same director, but very different films.
Amelie's, I love Amelie. So it's a good
I was just thinking for my underrated film, I should have said Cloud Atlas because everyone knew it and everyone fucking bombed it. But I think it's an insanely good movie.
It is a cool film. It's a good film.
It's a great film. Yeah, I think it's so well written and it's all music. The entire film is carried by music and theme, different themes for different characters and stories, and I think this is great.
For sure. All right.
Good. Underrated.
Yeah.
See, now I see why I like Little Death so much is people who are in on it, working on it from the beginning, have really good taste.
Well, you haven't watched Geely yet, so you might go.
I'll do a.
Oh no!
How about a Naked Gun Geely double feature?
There you go.
With and then I'll finally watch Revenant and then I got to watch Hereditary again.
Try to watch Hereditary. I'm telling you, dude, you're gonna fall asleep in the 15-minute mark. Once a person's head gets ripped off, you're just like, all right, it's over.
I just remember kind of digging it, and then I thought I don't know.
Yeah. See?
I just thought the story just like went off the rails with that.
Over my head. I'm like, oh.
But I could watch Midsommar tonight if I wanted. All right. I will wrap us all up. By the way, I probably forgot to mention this in the last podcast, but Kerri and Adam had named in the last podcast websites and social media. Those will all be clickable links as well in the show notes of the podcast. So I'll just, instead of having you read them off again or remember them again, our dear podcast producer Calvin will just copy and paste those links into the show notes, including all the ones about the crap that I do, the podcast, discoveryindiefilm.com, @DIF-wins on social media. The film festivals are Sherman Oaks Film Festival and Film Invasion Los Angeles. The streaming service is TVHi, watchtvhi.com. All right. Let's just stop. Let's get out of here. You've named a bunch of great films.
Go watch movies.
Yeah. And the last thing I'll say is people should watch yours. I appreciate that neither of you said the lesser known film that people should seek out is Little Deaths, but that'll be mine. It's not too well known, but it won awards at Sherman Oaks Film Festival, and people should watch Little Deaths starting, you said July 2nd?
July 2nd.
And you can pre-order it.
If
you go to iTunes, Vimeo VOD.
Yeah, it'll be on iTunes, Amazon, Vimeo, on demand, more things that I can.
Yeah, if you're an insane person who still has cable, you can rent on-demand movies.
Oh, Voodoo, Fandango, or now Fandango is now Voodoo.
Yeah.
You can buy it off of that.
I heard to use Google. It'll pop up.
Yeah. Well,
Google pop up.
Google App Store.
Yeah. Well, is it justwatch.com tells you where to find things too? I assume it might populate there.
Usually when you just Google a movie, though, there's like a module that pops up that tells you where to watch it.
I often just go to the Roku app and Google a movie, and that'll usually give you a pretty extensive list of where you can watch it all.
Sounds good. Yeah. All right. Thank you both so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. So good to see you.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone who's listening.